Hello, everyone. Thanks you for joining for this live Q&A session with the Star Trek New Horizons developers. We are just about to get started. I'm currently in a call with the people who will be joining us today. So we've got Orion, we've got G-Man, we've got Russ, and we've got Zoom with us at the moment. Yeah, so I think why don't we just jump in and see what they're saying. So let me, before we do that, let me unmute myself. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today?
Good. Fine,
Good.
thank you.
Hi,
Excellent.
Thank you. Excellent. So today is officially the 10th anniversary of Star Trek New Horizons. So how do you feel about that? Russ, how does that make you feel, being the lead developer of Star Trek New Horizons, that the mod has reached year 10? Oh, I think. Russ, can you hear me?
Something.
Okay, maybe let's start with G-Man. G-Man, how do you feel that the mod has reached year 10?
It was something special. I woke up this morning and I just remembered, oh, it's a day. And now it's a day. And I just sat and wrote something for our team inside our development team, and thank all for they being here. Thanked all them for doing anything, if it's big or small, whatever, and it made me almost cry. I asked Russ for his blog post. I wrote one for myself, and he wrote one for himself. And as he posted, I was almost crying. It's a really special day for me.
Mhm. Nice. So, Zoom and Orion, I mean, you've both been on the team for several years now. How does it feel also for you to be part of a team that's been going now for 10 years? Maybe let's start with Zoom.
Yeah, sure. I mean, what should I say? It's a bit surreal, I guess. It has been already 10 years. I mean, I've been working on the project on and off. It always stayed in my heart, so to speak, and yeah, I'm just glad we kept the team mostly together over all these years.
Mhm.
And yeah, we definitely had some some issues, but there were also friendships that we gained, and I'm really happy about that.
Absolutely. And how do you feel, Orion?
Yeah, it's been great. I think I have only been here like from 2019 as a member of the community, and I can't remember when I joined the beta, perhaps 2020 maybe was the year, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's been great and a lot of great people to work with, such as Russ and G-Man and Zoom, of course, and others as well.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Who I have had the pleasure of working with for the past years.
Absolutely.
So it's been great.
I mean, you say it hasn't been that long, but joining in 2020 or 2019, that's at least 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
So that's a majority.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes, goes so quickly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Time goes so quickly.
Absolutely. So, Russ, have you made it back in?
I have. Sorry, it's
Oh,
the
yes.
lovely Wi-Fi here in the southwest of England.
Not
But
a
yeah, I'm
problem.
back.
So how does it feel to be the lead developer on a total conversion mod that has been going for 10 years now?
It feels very, very strange, if I'm brutally honest. I don't ever really feel like the lead developer. I just feel sort of part of a team that is just lucky enough for these guys to kind of let me loose and do things. Really, it's a very surreal feeling that anyone anyone plays it, let alone just so many people playing it. So many people really care about what we do. I don't think it'll ever really sink in, if I'm honest.
So you're also, I think, the longest lead developer that the mod has had, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. They haven't got rid of me yet. So
Can you
yeah,
remind us when
I'll stick.
when you took over the lead developer position?
Oh wow. Possibly 20. Oh, it's probably been about 4 or 5 years, maybe. If that. Time flies. It was kind of I started off in a number of different roles here, so it's kind of evolved from that. But I've probably been doing the role for the last 3, maybe 4 years. I don't know if anyone else thinks differently, but yeah, it's probably been that amount of time.
I mean, that's amazing. Compared to when you started your role as the lead developer, how has it changed over the years?
Um, I think it's changed in quite a few ways, really. I mean, I think we've as a team we've probably developed more of a cohesion and a way of working that's just a really nice place to work in, a nice sort of a community within a community within the dev team. It's really, a really nice atmosphere. I think we've really developed that. I think each of us knows our strengths, our weaknesses. We all get on, really well, and the way that we work now is kind of developed almost into a bit of a semi-professional at times way of working. It's really cool to be part of that. I think the way that we've we've looked at the mod, we've got a very clear vision of what we want to do, which is perhaps something that we've evolved over time. Very clear on what we want to do. We've got a very well, balanced structure in how we get things added to the mod. People's opinions are very much listened to, which is again really good. And I think we're probably in a really strong position in that we can actually spend time, particularly at the moment, focusing on improving the mod, improving performance, and all that sort of stuff that was almost secondary to things at the start is now very much what we're looking to do is make it a faster, more reliable experience, really hunt down those bugs and focus on that while we now that we know Stellaris so well, now we know the coding so well, it's just a lot easier to do that and work on improving the performance and things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, G-Man, I wanted to ask you, when you, so obviously when you and Shago, who may or may not be joining us today, depending on his schedule and when he can be here, when you were, sorry, go ahead.
Shago is joining right now, so maybe you wait 5 minutes.
Ah, perfect. Okay. Well, I still want to ask you because I want your perspective on it anyway. I mean, thinking back to when you and Shago first decided, okay, we're going to start a mod for Star Trek New Horizons. We're going to start a mod that became Star Trek New Horizons. I mean, did you ever think that you would have the following that you have nowadays, 10 years later?
Absolutely not. So it was. We came from STO, and we waited 1 year for Stellaris as the perfect game to play a good balanced Star Trek, a total conversion. And we started to play on day one on Stellaris release, and after a few days, just maybe a week, we were ready. We know that game because we know how the Paradox make their games. So it's not need to dig into for years when you have played before Crusader Kings, Hearts of Iron, Europa Universalis, or anything in any iteration, it's always the same. So we was finished with Stellaris after a week, and then we go for the Hunt for Star Trek mod anyone had made. Then we waited for it, and 2 days later, so hey, nobody is making it Star Trek mod. What's happening here? Why not? And that was this situation. Shago started to play a bit around without telling me. And then he asked me, hey, do you know something about editing images with any kind of tool or what? I have no idea. Maybe I can switch a color in GIMP or whatever. So what do you need? So, and this was the very start of all we have today. At that point, this situation, that question, and it took a few days before we realized that we're creating a mod, which maybe is big. At that time, friends of us told us, "You never can reach that real. This cannot happen any time." So Shago was here, and we don't think about where it ends. We just want to have something. We want to play it. Yeah, we want to play a Star Trek mod. We never thought about the end, where it's finished. Months later, we saw that we have a direction and so on, and that is maybe a big thing, but not a very start.
Thank you, Juman. Hello, Shago. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. I mean, it's the 10th anniversary, so celebrations! Wow!
Absolutely.
No, it's incredible how fast the time went by. But yeah, G-Man just talked about the end. I don't know. I don't see the end yet.
No, absolutely not. This isn't the final voyage of the Starship
No.
New Horizons. It is just the 10th anniversary, and hopefully there will be a lot more. I wanted to. How does it make you feel when you hear that, like, oh wow, Star Trek New Horizons is now celebrating its 10th anniversary, Shago?
For me, it's surreal, really. As I just said, the time just flew by insanely fast. But it also fills me with a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, because I don't know, just knowing that the game is out for 10 years and people can play it for 10 years, and we made so many people happy with just providing that game. It's a great feeling. I love it.
Excellent. So I know you haven't been active the entire time of the 10 years. Due to personal and professional reasons, sometimes you've stepped in to help, sometimes you've had to step back a little bit. But I want to ask, let's start with you, Shago, about your time with the Star Trek New Horizons team. How would you rate your time working on Star Trek New Horizons?
Well, so we had these ups and downs also in team size. And I think when we were at the peak of the development, which probably was in the first year, we had, I think, nearly 100 people working on the mod, most of them doing localization though. And I really enjoyed the work environment, because this is a passion project. So everyone is working on it because they want to. And that also created a dynamic where all the developers kind of they gave more than 100%, and we pushed each other with our passion and our output. So we kind of this was a circle then. So you see a lot of progress from a colleague, and that motivates you as well, you know. So we kind of pushed each other to new heights. And to be honest, I never found a work environment like that again in the professional workspace. I'm still chasing that, and with my new job, it's going in the same direction. So maybe I can find that dynamic again there. But this was amazing, and we had some quieter times, which were also pretty good, I'd say. But these peak times, I really enjoyed seeing all the other developers working so passionately. It was just very, very fulfilling, and but it also wasn't really healthy. So I stayed up, I don't know, until 4 a.m. every day, and couldn't quit. So yeah, I really loved it, but I also know that it wasn't that healthy. So kind of have to find the right balance.
Maybe not healthy, but we definitely have to thank you for being part of an amazing team that made such an amazing mod, I would say. So personal thank you from my end for your unhealthy habits.
Cheers, man.
I'm going to focus a lot of my questions to Russ for the next, let's say, half an hour or so, because unfortunately Russ is only here with us for the first hour of this 2 hours. But that's okay. We will make use of 40 minutes. So we will make use of that time as best as we can. So Russ, I don't think we've actually spoken kind of using voice chat since the end of October, early November, when we first did our interview together. But I would like to also thank you for all of the frantic messages I've sent you in the meantime saying, oh my god, I found this bug. Can you please help me? So personal thank you to you as well for that.
No problem at all. Yeah, I'm just glad I've managed to sort most of them out for you, I think. This is where you come back and say there's still loads to go.
Absolutely. Also, thank you to the entire team again for the 4.3.7 compatibility patch and the 2 hotfixes that come out. How difficult was that for you, Russ?
The most recent patches?
Yes, those ones.
In all fairness, those recent ones weren't too bad. They didn't change too much about them, so it was a fairly easy one to do. I managed to grab some time whilst on holiday to get it sorted. So yeah, I managed to get those out. So there wasn't too much work in there. The actual 4.3 release and the ones before that were the absolute nightmare ones. Those are the ones that really took a huge amount of time, and I think it was linked between myself and Cutter looking to see whether there was more code changes or UI changes, and we'd have a competition to see which one of us would have to do more work to get the error lines back under a sensible number before we could even get the game to boot up. Those were fairly challenging times, but yeah, these last 2 ones have been fairly simple actually. Touch wood. This is where the next release comes out. Looks a bit of a monster.
Absolutely. I assume that Nomads is next, right? In June? Do you know anything about that?
We have read only the dev diaries from Paradox so far.
Okay. Speaking of the Nomad release that will be coming out, because I mean, for anybody who's watching and hasn't heard anything about Nomads, Nomads is going to be where you can control a faction without actually controlling any space. And I was wondering if there's been anything in the dev diaries or that you've heard about this expansion that's coming out, and the associated changes they will be making to the base game to be able to support such a system, and gone, oh, we could use that for Star Trek New Horizons for this mod, or for this mechanic, or for this faction. Has there been anything that's come out about the upcoming DLC that you're like, oh yes, we can use this? And if so, what is it? And how could we use it?
Russ is typing and answering.
Russ is just
Speaking-
trying to move location to a different location in the house. Okay. So, G-Man, can you take that question while he moves?
Yeah, the first thought was maybe for the city ship of the WoW. So we have a planet type created for the WoW, which appears at the city ship, well known from Voyager, but it cannot move. And in the TV show, it moves actually. Yeah, so this could be an idea when it fits to our idea about how the WoW have to work in Stellaris. So because nomads doesn't mean it doesn't fit exactly to the WoW canon type, but maybe we can crop out this this feature and make the WoW as we like it with a moving city ship. Or I heard some other ideas, but we need to wait for these features to test with it.
Okay, I see. I know in the past I think Paradox gave access to some features and kind of updates to the modding community, so that way people could begin to alter and change mods as needed before the update came out. Is that correct?
Can you repeat, please?
The update, so I think in the past, and I'm talking about probably several years ago now, Paradox Interactive used to give you some kind of access to the updates before they were released to the public, so that way you could start making changes to mods. And by you, I'm not only talking about the Paradoxical Development Group, but also to other major modders. Is that correct? Or am I misremembering something?
This is something Paradox don't want to talk about, so we cannot talk about.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I guess I will move on. Yeah, so with this new kind of DLC that's coming out, we're going to kind of get the nomads. And Stellaris has announced its season 10, so its series of content packs and expansions and things for this year. And so far, I mean, at least from what I've seen, they haven't actually announced a Stellaris 2 yet. And I know that I asked most of you about whether you'd be interested in doing a Stellaris 2 in the future. If they don't announce a Stellaris 2 and just say, okay, we're going to continue updating Stellaris for the next, I don't know, 5 years or whatever, is there a point where you're going to say, okay, we're done, we're going to get Star Trek New Horizons to a stable point, and then at, I don't know, let's say 5.0, we're going to call it quits and say, okay, this is the last version of the mod? Or are you thinking about continuing development of Star Trek New Horizons for as long as Stellaris is being developed?
Russ, are you back?
I am, yeah. I think as long as there's decent stories to tell, then I think we can, we'll probably look to release new stories. There will become a point when, similar to at the moment, when there's a bit of a lull in what new Star Trek content is coming out, it makes it a little bit difficult to add too much more story-wise to the mod at the moment. There's probably some stories out there that we want to expand on, or I've certainly got in the back of my mind that probably do with a little bit of an expansion. There's tons of novel and data canon out there that we can look at. So I think we've still got plenty of in our hats to that we can put out. But yeah, there may well come a time when things are quiet that we just focus on keeping things going and on waiting to see what happens next. I don't think anytime soon it will be. We've come to the end of the line in terms of new content that we can put out. And we're always thinking of some new mechanics that that we can do with the gameplay and do that ourselves. So I think we're all good certainly for the meantime. But you can never say never.
No, absolutely. Did you want to add to that, G-Man?
In case if the PTG development community says, okay, we want to stop here, it's quite simple. So it's still on the workshop and it's free, so you can play the mod as long as it's on the workshop. It's playable forever. So maybe if disappears from the workshop for any reason, maybe Steam is bankruptcy or whatever, I will upload it anywhere and you can play it still if you have the base game. So the mod will never lost anytime, but maybe we stop anytime. But then it's maybe Stellaris finished and the mod is also finished. So it's a perfect situation then. We can play instead of mod.
Yeah, I would also say these go hand in hand. And when it comes to Stellaris 2, we just because of the sheer size of the mod, we have pretty sophisticated infrastructure to make all this happen. So I'm confident that if there's ever a Stellaris 2 and there's and the team still exists, I think we might do something for Stellaris 2 as well, but we'll see. It's not even announced yet. So
No, absolutely. I actually have
technically, I think we are in a good spot to port the mod at a future date to a potential Stellaris 2. I don't know.
Yeah, we are actually in the best spot to do that. I mean, which other team would be in such a situation to just be able to use the existing infrastructure and port everything we have to the new game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I actually have a community question for you. Also about kind of the continuing development of Stellaris. And it's to do with the new scenario feature. So since Stellaris has announced this scenario feature, will this somehow also be applied to the New Horizons mod? For example, something like the TNG start. Maybe let's start with Russ, if you don't mind trying to answer that question.
I think everything that Paradox bring out, I think we look to see what it can do for the mod. So my initial answer, without having looked into that feature too heavily at the moment, is we'll try and look and see what we can do. I think anything that makes what we do easier or makes it easier to sort out content, I think we're all for. I think, for example, a lot of the stuff that we've done has actually ended up in the main game before it's in our mod before it ends up in the main game. So it might be a nice opportunity to see what this brings, see what it can make easier for us in the future. I know I'm personally quite keen to look at other era starts. I think the TNG for me was one of the most amazing bits of work that we did as a team. Everyone got together and made this really cool feature that's it's something the main game doesn't even have that option. And I don't think to start in a different era, advance all the technologies, I think what we created there was really, really cool. So if this new scenarios feature gives us the opportunity to expand on that, then I'm all for it. I'll certainly look into it. I don't think we ever rule anything out, particularly if it makes our lives easier.
Okay. G-Man, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. as Russ said, it was a big thing to create that TNG start submod. It took about 5 or 6 months for the whole team. So if this happen in a base game, it will take a while before we can release other scenarios as like TOS or TMP or the Discovery era or something else like that. It's a lot of changes and switches of small numbers and not that many code lines. So it's just a balancing and how looks the galaxy at that point, at that situation. Yeah, if it's possible, I would love it, but as everything, it needs its time. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a big part of that time is the beta testing that goes into a lot of these new features. Orion, can you talk a little bit more about the beta process, the beta testing process? So when you get an update from the development team, so let's say Russ says, okay, we've now got the, let's say 4.3.8 compatibility patch is now available. How can you walk me through the beta testing process and how long it takes from you receiving it to it being given the okay to be pushed publicly?
Well, sure. And yeah, it usually goes like that. We get the beta push from Rush and we get them periodically, and then we have several people who are volunteering at the beta who then will test the game and test these new features, and then report all kinds of bugs for the beta and for Rush, and then Rush hopefully and others will fix the bugs, and then we get another push, and then we test some more, and that's basically the process. But
At what
so
point?
there is no set date usually that we know. It's that we do testing, and then when I think mostly Russ is happy, then he will give the go ahead for us to go public.
Ah, okay. So Russ is the one who makes the final decision usually.
Well, I think he usually, yeah.
Okay. So Russ, at what point do you say, okay, because there's always going to be a couple of bugs. There's always going to be things to improve. At what point do you say, okay, this is good enough to release to the public?
If I had my way at times, it'd be absolutely spot on and perfect. But it's a bit of a juggling act between releasing something that's pretty much bug free and ready to go, because the longer we wait, the more the more pressure that we get to release, and we know how much people are, particularly of updates that mean that people can't play because they've got to roll back. There are people who are really keen to get on and play as quickly as possible, but I think for us, always the first push into beta is probably got the most issues with it. It's just basic, the game is up and running, and then it's an opportunity to find out exactly how many of our mechanics have stopped working as a result of the changes. And it shouldn't be a surprise after 10 years, but it always seems a surprise just how many things a simple update manages to stop working. So yeah, it's usually a case of the first couple of releases are just making sure that everything's up and running, there's no unexpected crashes, and then typically I think you look at 1 to 2 weeks of testing, and again it all depends on who's around to do that beta testing. So if anyone's watching and wants to come in and help, then we've got plenty of spaces available for people who want to come in and test. But yeah, usually after 1 to 2 weeks, and that's quite a few pushes and updates to the beta. Whilst those 2 weeks are going on, we're usually then in a position that we're comfortable that the majority of things are up and running and looking good. At that point, we usually then release onto Steam. I was going to say into production, but that's from my own working environment, using terms like that. And after that, we normally then do 1 or 2 fixes, because as much as we test privately and personally, there are so many different scenarios and so many different empires and events out there that there's just no way that we can test them all internally. So we usually watch the forums, watch the reports very carefully over the next 2 or 3 days, and then look to get as many of the issues corrected as quickly as we can after that, because there's always something that will slip through the net. It's just the nature of it. If we had a full-blown testing team at our disposal, then it may be different, but that's just not realistic. And then we hope people understand that, and most of the time people do. So it works. I think it works well. I think we've got it down. Fairly quick update process now.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of the patch that just came out, you came out with the 4.3.7 compatibility patch, and then 2 hotfixes I think the day after, and then today, which is 2 days after that released. Or is it 3? Sorry, 3, because it came out at the weekend. So yeah, very hot on the updates. Zoom, I also wanted to ask you about kind of the localization process for these updates. So how does that, is that dependent on the updates? Is it dependent on the beta testing, or is it completely separate from those 2 processes?
I'd say it's completely separate. I mean, Russ and everyone else who's working on adding content, they do at the same time add all the localization we need to the Google Sheets I already talked about in the anniversary video. And yeah, as soon as those lines are on the sheets, we are able to use our custom tool to just export everything, convert it in the right format, and just put them in the or besides the other mod files, and that's it. So over the years we really streamlined this process, and it's become really easy to do for anyone really who just has the tool and is able to do it.
Okay, perfect. So basically it's just, oh look, there are new strings, there are new sentences. Okay, and then you fill them in. Okay, so it's not necessarily dependent on the update. I guess I was asking because we usually see those kind of updates, or we see the updated localization at the same time as an update, but they're not actually dependent on each other.
Right. Yeah. Usually, when the next update is coming up, and we need a localization update, Russ just pings me, and we do a refresh of everything we need in the game, and that's basically it. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So, are you looking for any? I know during your interview you said you were still looking for people to localize into Spanish, to French, and what was the third language? Anyway, you were still looking for some localizers for certain languages.
Yeah.
Has that changed at all in the last 6 months?
No, not really. We still are searching for translators. I mean, we're always happy to welcome new people to our team. This has been the same for the last 10 years. And I mean, Shago already mentioned it. We always had some up and downs in dev team size, but we're still searching for translators. I mean, Russian, German, and English are pretty much done. We only do QA and proofreading on those. But for the other languages, we're always happy to welcome new translators.
Excellent. So for those, anybody watching who's interested in either beta testing or localizing or translating, or even for any other contributions to the mod, I will put the application for the mod team in the chat at some point when I've got a moment to search for it. So I kind of want to change topic a little bit because we've got some several community questions that have to do with our next topic, which is going to be about the events in Star Trek New Horizon. So I'll ask everyone, but let's start with Russ. Russ, what is your favorite Star Trek New Horizons event, and why?
My favorite one is one of the earlier ones I did actually. It's the Voyager Caretaker event. It's one of my real favorite ones I've done because it's as you know, 3 different flavors. It's quite complicated. There's 3 different flavors. There's Starfleet, Romulan, and Cardassian, and each of them is, you know, you send off your ship into the Badlands or the equivalent anomaly, and it kind of plays out in a quite a similar stretch to the TV, where you've got episodic events that come up, and it affects relationships of different areas. It helps you establish contact with, you know, the other side of the map if you haven't done that. It was really a real pain to do behind the scenes, trying to make sure that, you know, it would memorize all the different things that would happen. When the base game brought in the situation mechanic that came in, it became a whole lot easier to do, and I rewrote it to make use of that, which was a bit of a lifesaver because it's just so much easier to do it all through that. But yeah, I really love that one because it was one of the first major ones I did. It was something that I hadn't seen done before in the base game, and it was really cool. And it was also Voyager, which I enjoyed at the time. So yeah, that was one of my favorite ones to do, just for me personally, because it was a real pain to get it working. So I was quite pleased when it's up and running. The only unfortunate thing is it's quite near the end of the game. I don't know if many people get the chance to play it, which has always been a bit of a sadness for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a shame that the end game content or content towards the end game is so rarely seen, because there's some amazing stuff in there. G-Man, same question for you. What's your favorite event?
The first what just came in my mind was the the Borg Civil War, which is honestly a late game crisis for the Borg. When you covers up a specific percentage of the galaxy map, then it will trigger that your empire, your will split by half, and you have a kind of a civil war against the Unimatrix Zero faction, and it's like the vanilla game crisis idea, though you have a big trouble in late game when you overwhelming every other faction and you can steamroll above the entire galaxy and nothing is stopping you. But then suddenly it happens. You'll be fucked. I really loved that idea, that event. But the next event was with Picard, with that the Another Life is called, maybe, with that flute,
Inner Light.
the Inner Light music. And it's only because I love to hear that in the game, in the event window, it's popping up, and so nice. Yeah, that's the 2 events which I really like. Next to the story events from Federation, but these are so common at start, and everybody knows that these buff events are not so often shown up.
Absolutely, and special shout out to Cornholio, who makes a lot of the music for the Star Trek New Horizons mod. And if I'm not mistaken, is working on remastering several of the music we know and love in the mod already, as well as some new compositions. Is that correct?
This is absolutely correct. 3 days or 4 days again, he asked me what specific song I want to hear in the mod remastered or edit, which is missing. And my answer was all of them. Yeah, but this is not realistic happen in the next few months. It takes a lot of time to make a composition. If you would make it pretty fast, you would get 1 or 2 in a month. So, and then it's not that good as he like, as I like, and I really open with my critics to him at that point. But yeah, we try to find MIDI files. This makes him easier with his setup of as like Birth Federation we talked about. Maybe we can remaster all the Birth Federation stuff. I cropped from the original source and made it as part of the music mod. But he want to make it original for Star Trek New Horizons, and so maybe this is the next thing which shown up from him. So we will see. It's an artist. It's he does not plan anything. He just make it when he have time, when he have the mood, the conditions fits, and so on. So it's like everything else in our development. It needs to fit to make something finish. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to those contributions. He did a teaser for me about 6 months ago when we did the individual interviews, and I've been waiting on tenterhooks ever since for that. So looking forward to it. I want to ask the rest of you the same event question of what your favorite event is. However, because Russ needs to leave in about 10 to 12 minutes or so, I have a specific question from the community for him. I'm going to jump to that, and then I'll come back to this favorite event question. So Russ, this question comes from somebody called Tyrannus, and it says, about a year ago, your team introduced a very interesting exploration mechanic after a discussion I had with Russ on your Discord regarding new ways to improve the exploration feel of the mod outside of the usual surveys of planets and such. Basically, there was a system on the map, I believe they've put in brackets Lambata cluster, that you go into, and it begins an exploration situation mechanic with events, rewards, etc. However, since that one cluster and update back then, there hasn't been any touch-ups or additions to that type of mechanic. Are there any plans to improve or add more events and perhaps unique mechanics to this exploration type mechanic in the near future?
I know this user. He was asking for that for quite some time, so I can only hold my hands up and say, sorry, it's been on my list to do for some time, and then Paradox decided they were going to redo the whole pop system, so it got put on the back burner. But absolutely, yeah, I think one of the things that is really cool I want to get out of the game going forward is the sense of exploration, and once you've kind of explored the boundaries of the map, which is only ever going to be a certain size, given, and you can never replicate the full size and scale of the Star Trek universe in a map that sits on your screen without probably blowing up your computers. Doing something with exploration and clusters and events like the Lambada cluster, which actually came off from one of the novels, is something I really want to progress with and do a bit more. Make little events and exploration within, without actually going off of the map and doing that within there. So yeah, it is something that is still on my radar. It's still something I very much want to expand on. I think that's a cool way to tie in some of the the canon that's lesser known canon from the novels and things like that. So 100%, I want to do it. It's just a matter of finding time at the moment, and hopefully when things settle down and there's not so many changes to the base game that need to be done, then it'll be back on my list.
Okay, thank you. Is there any are there any ideas of how you would update this mechanic that you're willing to share with us at the moment?
I'm probably going along the situation mechanic. I think it seems ideal for it, and I know that there's some stuff with the Astral Planes DLC which could be tied into it. So those are the thoughts I've got in at the moment. See what we can do with tying it around with those. I need to have a proper look and see what can be done. My goal, as always, and the goal of the team was always, was to make sure we don't lock anything behind paid DLC. So I need to have a look and see what can be done for without having to force anyone down the DLC route. So that's where my head is at the moment. Certainly, looking at what we did with the exploration events in game, where you kind of send your ship off and it goes off in a series of special projects come off. It'll probably be something along like that lines, but we'll see what else we can do that and have more of a lasting impact on the map. Those exploration events, while cool, you kind of go off and do them, and it's kind of very self-contained. What I want to do with these new set of clusters and map sections is to make them more impactful on the game. So maybe a new empire or new threat is spawned off the back of those. So that's where I want to look for it. It's just a matter of finding, with everything at the moment, finding time to do it.
Ooh, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, I mean, especially with the upcoming changes like the nomads and situations, I assume it will take more time before you're able to get to that. But the ideas that you've just come up with, whether it was off the cuff or whether you've kind of sat down and thought about this in the past and just haven't been able to implement it, to me, sound excellent.
I have a list somewhere of things I want to do. It tends to get filled up pretty quickly with things that need to be done rather than things I want to do. So yeah, Tyrannus, I promise it will get done.
Perfect. One more question for you, Russ, before you go, because I think we've got about 5 minutes or so. What occupation would you like to have in the Star Trek universe, and why?
I think I'd want to be chief engineer, because I'm from a technical background. I work in IT. That's always been my background. So I don't know. I also thought Geordie LaForge was pretty cool. So that'd be my reputation. Plus, I could keep off of the bridge and work behind the scenes to get to make things happen, and then get called a miracle worker when things are going well, and get shouted at when it's going bad. So it seems to fit in quite well.
So chief engineer on a starship.
Yeah, I mean they also don't tend to go down and get redshirted on the missions, so I'm cool with that.
That would always be a plus. Do you think your engineering style would be more like Scotty from TOS, or LaForge, or B'Elanna?
You'll have to ask the others. I don't think I'm a hot-headed Klingon type. Maybe I am. Maybe they just don't tell me. I think more of a LaForge, a bit, hopefully more laid back and chill about how I go about things. But I don't know. Maybe the others see it a different way. Maybe I'm really a Klingon.
Perfect. When you have to go, definitely please say something before you drop out. But let me turn back to, let's start with Zoom this time. What is your favorite Star Trek New Horizons event?
Yeah, I think it's the Xindi event in early game, because it's one of the first major event chains we created. And because it's kind of special, with the Xindi probe slowly approaching the Earth, and you have to fight it off, because otherwise everything ends. And yeah, I think this is one I played through many times, and I just think the idea was very, very cool back then.
Okay. Orion, how about you? What's your favorite event?
Okay, well, it's not an easy question, but I would like to start with saying that Russ truly is a miracle worker, because at least when you're on the developer side of the Discord, you can see how many pushes he does, how many little mechanics and all sort of things every day. I don't know if we have any other person. Well, Cutter, perhaps when the UIs need work, but I think it's Russ is the most active pusher of fixes and new mechanics and stuff on the developer side. So yeah, he truly is a miracle worker. Anyway, for the event thing, I think my answer might be a bit boring, and I might say the forming of the Federation, because I don't usually play as the Federation. I still like to have them as an enemy, so I think we even have the queue setting at the start of the game to force the UFP formation, so that is really useful. That have been really useful for me. Also, if you want some event that I have made, I would say probably Gravity, and that's because, well, I don't know, are my events that good in the long run, but it has 2 versions, so it branches out at the start very nicely. So it's not always the same when you encounter it. There is a minor and a major version of the same event. So I think that was a cool idea from me, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Shago? What's your favorite event?
Yeah, I think my top 3 events have already been stated. I wouldn't rate them in any order, but the Voyager event was amazing. I was I don't know. I didn't expect it to work like that, and I also know how much work behind the scenes had to be done to make this happen. So this is definitely one of my favorite events. So kudos again to Russ. Amazing work. As he said, though, it's a late game event, so you actually have to play quite a bit. So I think I've only played it twice in total. But yeah, that one was amazing. Otherwise, for sure, the Xindi event, just because it's so iconic, and I think every New Horizons player has experienced that, and it also has quite a lot of consequences for your actions. So I really love that. And then I was initially gonna say the Unimatrix Revolution event. Although I think we need to maybe revisit that at some point. I think it was balance-wise, it was really good when we initially released it, but I do remember playing some years later, and I was just losing the game because it wasn't. It was too hard. That had been a lot of fun. Also, from the behind-the-scenes work, it was really cool because we made variants of the Borg ships, so that the Rebellion would have a different color. So you as the regular Borg are green, of course. But I think we added multiple colors, and there's a random list which one you will get for the Rebellion. But yeah, this I really enjoyed that a lot, and I think it's a very nice touch. Otherwise, because I do want to name one more event that we haven't talked about, is the wormhole event. I also really enjoyed that one, and I think it also, yeah, it also has a lot of lore background, and I like these events where the dynamic changes. So of course the Borg Rebellion event is the most disruptive, but the wormhole event also can be very challenging, depending if you're prepared or not. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that sets this mod apart from a lot of other mods, and not just Star Trek mods, but just mods in general, I like the event chains that Star Trek New Horizons has. And I mean, it's something that's come up very often. So, for example, the Voyager event chains, or the Xindi probe event chain, or the wormhole event chain. Going off of that, you've got like the Earth Romulan War event chain. You've got the Dominion War event chain. Say that again?
Also amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think the quality of those are great. And I love that there are so many outcomes. So you can have, and you can kind of push the game so that way it has the same outcome as we see in the shows. But you can also push it in different ways to make things, well, to change history basically, or change what we see in the shows to either change your, if you're role playing the game, changing your role playing style or role playing something different. So, for example, what if the Federation and the Dominion didn't fight, or what if the Cardassians hadn't joined the Dominion, or what if the Dominion had just completely steamrolled the Alpha and Beta quadrants? With all of these event change, there are multiple different outcomes. For example, the Xindi, you can get Xindi pops on Earth just from the event chain, the insectoids that they found in that one episode of Enterprise. Where in the Enterprise version, I think they signal the Xindi saying like, "Oh look, here's a crashed ship. Your insectoid eggs here." But you could also decide, no, we're going to take those home with us if you get the good outcome for that, and then have insectoid pops, or the split human alien world that they find also in Enterprise, where you can reveal the existence of the Federation, and then United Earth at that point, and then you can pick one side in the fight that they're having with each other, and you can make them into a vassal of United Earth and the Federation as well. And that doesn't happen in the shows, but you can force that, or you can get that in the game. And I love the way that flexibility has been added into these event chains. So yeah, amazing work, everyone. Thank you very much for all of that. G-Man, was there something else you wanted to add?
Nobody mentioned about the mirror event crisis.
Oh,
Ooh, good one, yeah.
Just remember, this is the opposite side of the Borg crisis is for the Federation. So the mirror event invades the UFP player, and the idea comes from Star Trek Online. They had a daily event where you can gather some resources, and really think this shouldn't be forget here.
No, I think some of the crises are excellent in the game as well. Both kind of the mid-game crises of, for example, the weaker Terran invasion, or the Borg assimilation cube event that acts as a mid-game crisis, but also the Iconian ones, or the full-scale mirror universe invasions. And it can be like the Terran Empire or the Klingon Cardassian alliance. Yeah, I think those are chef's kiss. Mwah. Thank you very much for adding those as well.
I've got to say, I love the Borg. When the Borg cube appears and just slowly makes its way. There are a few times when you see something and it really feels like watching the TV, but when you see screenshots of the Borg cube there and you've got your fleet flying around it, it really feels like that Wolf 359 that you never got to see on TV. I just think that's really cool when it just slowly plows its way through and it feels pretty unstoppable. So that is a really cool one.
Exactly, and you're usually losing, especially that first fleet. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I think we should tell about event chain itself, not a specific event chain. Event chain is not you make a story driven through a few events and it's telling a nice thing about Star Trek, and you can take alternatives which is different from the canon. On the technical side, it's easy to have 80 different events in a list, and the most of them the user will never see in the mod. It's such a huge workload to make one of these events, and then if you think you have tons of these event chains, you begin to realize how much amount of work this is or was. And to that is Shagor, Russ, and Orion, all these event coders who wrote an event, especially such an event chain. It's really amazing to understand how much effort they gave into this. Absolutely amazing to me.
Absolutely. I looked into some of the event coding, or the event files, I should say, when I was going to do a bunch of tutorial videos about the events themselves and kind of working through both event chains as well as the events that often come up. And this was not long before 4.0 was released, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait for 4.0 because that's going to be a major change. And now that the 10th anniversary, I do plan on going back to those. However, looking through all of those, the various options, and then all of the options need to have various versions for different, for example, different factions, depending on what exactly the event is, or for example, if you're doing it as the Confederation of Earth, or United Earth, or the Federation, or the Romulans, for example, for some of the event chains. And it was just so many different versions of the exact same event that it was really mind-blowing of like, wow, okay, so in the game you might see like 5 or 6 pop-ups, but in order to get those 5 or 6 pop-ups and have them make sense in order, as I'm playing X faction, there's actually like 50 or 60 versions of all of the different flavor text that you get. So I mean, it was really mind-blowing about like, wow, okay, in order to make kind of a video about this, and especially for those event chains where you sometimes have events that don't pop up. Like, for example, we were mentioning the Zindi, and finding the crashed insectoid ship with the insectoid eggs. You don't get that all the time. But like if you do, there's still several different versions of it. And so to have an event chain with 50 or 60 different versions of the different choices you can make, it was really a staggering amount of work that goes into something you only see for, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds on the screen. So again, thank you, huge thank you, in this case to the event team for all of the work that's gone into that, because that is crazy. Okay, so sorry, go ahead, G-Man.
I just it is thank you for Russ, Shaco, Orion, and all the others. It's really amazing, and nobody noticed all the work you spoke out.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, obviously, Russ did the major, hugest workload of us all regarding events. But this was always something that we had a lot of fun doing, was creating these alternate history events. And then it's super fun designing that. I would compare it a little bit with Elden Ring, for example, which is a game which has, I think, 150 bosses or something. But to beat the game, you only need to kill 3, I think, of them. So you could miss out on 90% of the content of the game. And it's a bit similar with New Horizons, but this also makes the game so much more interesting when replaying. So yeah, we also had a lot of fun doing these events. Appreciated that you also saw how much work it is. It's crazy.
While we still have Russ here, I actually want to ask him a question, and I will then open it up to everyone else. And specifically you, Russ, because you used to be in the event team before you became the lead developer. And there was a community question that's come up that's asking, are you or will you be using any of the cancelled or scrapped television show ideas as new storylines in the future?
That's an excellent question. Yeah, I think I don't think we've got any restrictions on doing anything like that. I mean, the canon that we create is almost our own individual ones. I think our view has always been we pick the best stories out there and we adapt them our way. So we've got stories from, across all of the different series that we've put our own little spin on and done our own thing with. So yeah, I think if you look at honestly, there's some really good stories that haven't been told from bits of Trek history that never made it onto TV that we can go with. there's a lot of exciting things as we make the game better, performing better, and more people get towards the end game, where some of the stuff that happens after Picard, I don't know whether Legacy will ever get created as a TV series. I kind of hope it does, but who knows at this point with what's going on. But that just gives us an opportunity to tell our own version of it and to have our own bit of fun with it. So, like the others have said, I think we don't look at it and say we're not going to do anything from that. We just take the ideas from everything out there, and if we like it, then it's got a great chance of making it into the game, and we'll put our own spin and our own flavor on it. So yeah, it's a really cool question, and certainly going forward, I think we'll have a look at some of the stories that haven't really been told all that much and see them. I think it's perhaps a little bit obvious to do the main ones. Everyone's seen them, everyone's watched the shows and played them, but it's the little niche stories that could do with some love that I'd love to get into the game.
I don't want to put you on the spot because I know I haven't sent you any of these questions. You haven't prepared. I mean, you haven't seen any of these before. Do you have any examples of some of these ideas?
For me, one of the big things when there was before Star Trek returned to TV, I used to read the novels. They were my kind of the thing I like to enjoy. They're kind of that alternate. I don't know. They've changed it when I think it was Picard came back on TV, and they kind of firmed out what happened after the movies went off screen. But for me, there were some really great stories out there that have come up that I'd love to tell or even just include. Another one that I really enjoyed of late, I don't know how many people listen to it, but the Star Trek Khan, I don't know, was it a web series or a YouTube series or whatever it came out, but that told a really amazing story about what happened to Khan before, after the events of TOS and before Wrath of Khan. For me, I think that's something I'd love to get into the mod, because that's a bit of canon that I don't know how many people actually listen to, but I'd love to get something like that, because that could then spawn a whole raft of ideas of what happened. If they did get off the planet, could an augment army spawn up or something like that? There's a lot of ideas, a lot of cool things that we could do off the back of that I'd love to have a look at and have a play around with.
Absolutely. Speaking as somebody who also kind of comes from an engineering background, a series of books that I read in the Star Trek universe that I think would be kind of interesting to add more for flavor rather than really influencing the universe. Although, I mean, I guess there could be something. Is the what were they called? Starfleet or Star Trek Starfleet Corps of Engineer series? Did you ever read that one, Russ?
Yeah, I think it wasn't one of the main ones I've read, but I've read quite a few of them, so I am aware of them. But if it's one of your favorites, I'm more than happy to if you want to share some stories that you want to get in, I'm more than happy to to work with you, get yourself a chance to help work on the mod in a different way. If you wanted to have a chat about that offline.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just one of those things. So the premise of the idea behind it is that Scotty, after they find him on the Dyson sphere, goes back, and rather than he goes into retirement, as he does at the end of the episode, and then basically just decides he's bored and wants to do something, but doesn't have necessarily the skills for the modern next generation Starfleet that we see. And so what he does is he becomes like a specialty admiral, like a vice admiral or something, to creating a Starfleet Corps of engineers where they solve technical issues and do things like building star bases, and it's just their job is the engineering support behind Starfleet, and it follows one of a specific ship, and I think there's a good 70 or 80 novels. I mean, it was quite a large series when it was being published, but all completely flavor. I mean, it's not as though it changed anything in the Star Trek universe. But just wondering if there was anything specific like that you would like to implement?
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to have a look and do that. I only think because one of the things we haven't touched on, maybe you will in a bit, is the amazing leader portraits that we've done. One of the things that we've really improved the mod over the last few years is getting those leader portraits updated. And again, there's some fantastic work done by Jago, Zoom in particular, and G-Man around updating our 2D assets, and those leader portraits I think are brilliant. So any excuse to get those leaders appearing on your screen and an event surrounding them, particularly the Scotty, I'm all for. I'd love to showcase them, because I think in terms of those leader portraits that we've got in, I think they're really great. So any excuse to get them front and center on the screen and events surrounding them, I'm 100% up for.
Perfect, excellent. So I know you need to go now. I wanted to say big thank you again, not only for your time today for this live Q&A, but big thank you again for all of your contributions to the mod, both in the events team as you originally started out, as well as the lead developer for the past 6 or 7 years. And yeah, just a huge thank you from both myself, and I think I probably speak for the community, or can speak on the community's behalf as well, saying thank you.
Oh, I've loved it, and I think I said in the documentary, this has been my little passion project to work with such a great team, giving back to Star Trek, which has meant so much to me personally over the years. I might be lead developer at the moment, but it's such a fantastic team. You put in so much effort, and it's such a great place and people to work with. So it's just been so much fun to do, and so great to get involved in. And here's to the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Somebody in the live chat has also just posted that salute smiley for you. So yes, I would like to pass that on as well.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I want to go back to that question that I asked originally, and where Russ said that he would be the chief engineer on a starship. Let's start with Shago. What occupation would you like to have if you lived in the Star Trek universe?
Yeah, I think I would prefer a science position. Yeah, for sure. I mean, unknown worlds and unknown technologies and everything, I would definitely be in the science department.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity. Not even because, I don't know, it's my professional background or something. Yeah, I would definitely choose science.
Yeah, you might find me there with you. G-Man, how about you? What would be your occupation?
I had quite time to think about that, because I ever loved the character of Julian Bashir, and this was the reason my very first character in Star Trek Online called Julian. I think it's the same as Shago said. It's a scientific career in any kind. Maybe not medicine, but yeah. I love to find out new things, and so it's not necessarily on a ship. It's maybe on a station or on a planet or whatever. But sure, it must have something with science. Working with computers, with together with a team. This is exactly what I do for STNH, which makes me a lot of fun in that universe.
Absolutely. So that's what, 3 of us to science now. Zoom, how about you? Where would you be, or what would you be doing?
Well, I guess we are all on the same side here. Yeah, I think I would be on the science team as well. I mean, just naturally, we are all fans of the franchise, and especially about. I mean, we like this the fact that it's so focused on sci-fi and maybe sometimes even It's kind of hard sci-fi, so many technical things are discussed in the show, and I think this is what we love about it. And yeah, maybe I'm an engineer as well. I guess.
Sounds excellent. And Orion, what would you be doing in the Star Trek universe?
Well, probably something with do with computers also, or some engineering work. One or the other, can't really decide.
No one wants to be captain.
A lot of responsibility. Also, I
Jamie
noticed
can be captain.
I can be captain. Thank you.
Yeah.
I also noticed nobody said red shirt. No command staff or security staff.
Yeah, it's from speaking from experience from the Star Trek history, it's a hard job.
You might not survive.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, poor Worf. It seems like every TNG episode where there's anything to do with security, he's always just being thrown around or knocked about. Poor guy.
Yep.
So, Spock. So our favorite Spock in the chat, who has also done a lot of beta testing for the team, said, "I would like to be a Q." And then he said, "Jim, he is dead."
This is a good old joke, which Google made into their page back in the beginning of Google. I really love that. But as you see, we use these Q clauses in the documentary, and I thought a little bit, just a small thing inside me is like, hey, BQ could be funny, but we all know it's just boring after a few billion years.
Yes, unfortunately, I feel like we would all be like the Q continuum before the Civil War they have in Voyager, where it's just sitting around, not talking to each other, not doing anything, because we've done it all and said it all already.
Yeah, yeah. But nobody of us wants to be in a war or fight or whatever. So it's maybe the red shirt thing from TOS or the commander position in TNG, which is then red. They switched the colors. It's nothing for us. We want to make things happen and not cheating and not responsible for other lives. Also, we just want to make our thing. Huh? And as an engineer or as a scientific, you can't do this. It leads directly to that. When you think about it, it's obvious we are creators.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Via Mario on Twitch said, Worf is a Klingon, he needs to be thrown around and fight. And then Spock, when you were talking about Q, was saying, yes, that's exactly good. Sitting there and doing nothing. That's what Spock wants to do. That's excellent.
It sounds as like a dictatorship without enemies.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have about half an hour left. And I would like to, so I did tease that we were going to be talking about something new that's happening with Star Trek New Horizons. So please give me just one moment. I need to pop out your stream, G-Man, and I think now it would be a good time to start talking about the new feature or the new tool that you and Zoom have created together. All right, please give me one moment because OBS, for whatever reason, still only wants to show me our chat channel rather than the stream. Oh, here we go. Excellent. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. So maybe it's good when you post the link into the chat that everyone can now see what we have created.
Yes, I'll do that now.
Yeah. So what we have did something special we want to make. We want to have since the start of Star Trek New Horizons. It was a wiki, and we had offered the community to make by their own, but it's not possible in the short amount of time between the Paradox update switches to keep that up to date. Beyond that, we bring our own content, and it's much more than Paradox had. So I had an idea to bring all these competences which Shaku showed me into new tool, into new page. It's a web page. So we bought the stnewhorizons.org webpage, and this is what you see here. And we created a Star Trek New Horizons wiki, or rather than a database. This we showed this on the last stream, so we a little bit teased up that. And today is the day we want to release it. We made in-game button or multiple in-game buttons in the mod that you can click on it and jump to this page, or you can make it as a favorite or whatever. This is now available for anyone, and yeah, I want to present it now. So what is it? What is it? We cropped all our data from the mod to show it readable at one place and up to date. So this will always be updated when we update a mod on the Steam Workshop. So it will never fall back. And it's a full off-game reference of everything in New Horizons. Maybe it's not finished yet, but it will finish in the next days, months, whatever. I guess it's 90% of the mod is now containing in. So I did yesterday the newest update for it, and what contains. So we have 7 sections, which is events, technology, empire, governance, economy, military, and exploration. And in each you have a bunch of tabs where you can, as example, show the edicts. What does the edict specific to, or what else? And the most important thing is we have a lot of different language native speakers who cannot speak English. They play Stellaris, Star Trek New Horizons in German, French, Russia, whatever. And all this is localized as the mod in all the different languages. So you can check what is that event Khitomer, for example. Yeah.
KH.
KH. Khitomer. So you have that event and you have no idea what you need to do. So for example, you can search it and you have all findings in this database. And you click on the event, and then you have the chance to read what is behind. So what is the immediate effects and what options will lead to what exactly. And people always ask us what I need to click on that event to get this result, that outcome, or what is the best way. And now you can check every event by just typing the ID. The ID is in the code, or when you open the cheat mode, you can read it via tooltip. Or you just type in Rura Pente as example, and then you get the offers with all this contains. And as you see, this is what I talked about earlier in the stream. You never see how many events a chain have. And here you now, the first time, it is possible to follow what is that amount of work. And here you can also find the things you never clicked on, but it can happen. So far to the event, though, you have here the list of the related events. You could also click into this kind of manner, but it's more just the events. For example, technology contains every single technology. We have here numbers. It's currently 1,991 technologies. And when you have no idea how I get to the cubes, as example, you play Borg and you want to know how I get a cube. So you just search inside the technology tab and you will find only the technologies. Or when you go back to the hub, you will find everything with what is related to the cube in entire Star Trek mod. And so here you have components, or cube focus is a trait, or anything in events. But we want to know about the ship. So we click on the ship and we can check, okay, this is the cube, this is the modifiers, the resource I need. And I have a chance to watch it off game. So I can look how the in-game appears. Here you have the different Borg colors. Shako told before, the blue, orange, whatever. It always uses the same mesh or the same ship size. It's a concept of Stellaris ship sizes, and it can happen that you have the same model for another faction or a different model. As example, when you battle ship, then you have here much more factions where you can choose. So you have the chance to dig into the mod without open the mod or without open the files. So you have all on one page. And technology is something more. Several months ago, we created a tech tree, which is visualized. And this is also on this page. As you see, this is 2,000 technologies, and it's maybe too much to find something, but I will show you some special. When you want to go to the Resilient Cube technology, you know, okay, but what I need before, you can go to the prerequisites here and click, or you go in the tree and you will see instant what this tree needs to have. So it's pretty useful, I would say. The next thing is the Empires tab. This contains all prescripted empires. So you have here 110 empires. Not every empire will spawn every time. So you have, as an example, the mirror universe version of the Earth is not happen on the non-mirror map, as example. But you want to know what does the anti-packs have. So you can check this and you can click on what means democratic at that moment, and you jump over. Okay, democratic gives me this. but you have no idea where the anti-can packs are placed on the map. So this is thankful for Zoom. We have a map which every faction is placed exactly on that position, as in a mod will happen. So you see here anti-packs, you can click on it and you see all information here as well. Also, you can simply scroll through the entire map. But maybe anyone say, oh, no, I don't want Alpha, Beta, Delta, and Gamma Quadrant. I just want Alpha, Beta map. So you have the chance to choose here, as example, the Alpha, Beta Quadrant. Yeah. So I'm just popping up all these Alpha, Beta Quadrant species, which already only spawns on that map in-game. Or, which is funny, we have the BOTF, Birth Federation style. This is a kind of a roster. Maybe some of you know that. Yeah, or the mirror one, which is this one. Yeah, you see it's flipped over, it's mirrored. And as you see, the Klingons are on the left side now. Yeah, I'm really love that, because often I want to play multiplayer session and I have no idea what faction I want to play. I need to join into run a game and switch into the observer mode and check, oh, this position or that position that look good for me, and okay. But now you can just do it here. You know what map you play, and then you can plan your next session. Yeah, this is the big three. Then we have here governance. What means that is the government for different types, which is not choosable in the mod. It's prescripted. So we have just a few informations put into there just to make it full. The civics, which maybe can change, but overall, I think it's a good backup knowledge base to find out what exactly do the assimilation policy. Okay, when you not have it because you have no tech for it. So it can help. It can help while you play and open it with the Steam browser in game, or you use the web address as like me here and open it in the browser. You can do it as well in a smartphone, cell phone, but not the Empire map or the attack tree. Both need a bigger screen, so this is not working. So the military we already had, but you also have here all the different modules. I see some vanilla modules are still appreciated because we do not delete everything from vanilla, but it's not shown up because you don't get a tag. Yeah. So, and finally, anomalies is like as the events roster, but it's a bit simpler. So you can find maybe interesting things you never have found in the Star Trek New Horizons universe. Furthermore, we have a link to our blog page. I've spoken about. I made an entry about the 10 years, and Russ made another entry for today about the future. It's maybe interesting. And what is the next big thing next to this page, which is now available, is the SDNH log analyzer. Is one of the tools we created, as Zoom said before, for localization. We have little tools to make things. this one was a wish from Orion. Orion asked me, hey, can we do this with that? And I said, oh, well, why not? We tried. And now we want to share it with the community, with everyone who wants. This is only working with SDNH. So the game log file, which you can find in your document folder of Stellaris, contains only informations when you activate it. So you have to go when by start of the game, you started already, first day events are gone, and then you go to contacts, advanced diplomacy, advanced country data locking options, and turn on the locking options. And then you can read your progress. So it's just local. No files will upload it to anywhere. So it's only local. When you want to share the files with us, it's as like the safe game files. You can upload it on the Discord, but this is only local, and you can analyze then how is your game, what happens to you, or what happens to every other faction, and it's really interesting to improve your gameplay, to check. Oh, I didn't know that, and inside you also get where is it? Oh no. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, I'm not fully prepared for this stream. However, I just want to say it's free for all. It's now available, and you see here always the last updates, what is updated, and yeah. Locutus of Borg, which works also on the dev team, said a few weeks ago, as I showed him this, how big this mod really is. He just got remembered by serving on this page. It's not imaginable what in the last 10 years have been done. So just check the numbers, check the stuff, the content, and yeah, let me know about bugs, about missing stuff or whatever in Discord, and it will get updated instantly because we use that as well. Actually, we found bugs with this tool. Also, we could fix that in game. Yeah, I think that's all. So I could not tell anymore.
Oh, that's perfect, Jiban. Thank you very much. I think this is going to be an amazing tool, an amazing useful tool for answering a lot of questions that people often have. For example, I think in our last game that we played together, the multiplayer game, you were asking like, oh, Brizene nitrate, where do I get Brizene nitrate? And then
exactly.
yeah, you can search for that, and it tells you everything there is to know about Brizene nitrate. So it tells you, for example, like as the buildings that use it, the buildings that make it, edicts and things that use it. So I think that's excellent.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea. I know Brizene, but oh shit, I will get this resource from. So I go into this and just find Brizene nitrate, 2 buildings. That's the sources, and here you see what is consuming this Brizene. And so I click on the building, and I got that. The next step, okay, I see. Oh, it needs food, but it gives Brizene. But when I get it, prerequisites, the technology. Yeah, I click on it, and I instantly jump to the technology in the tree, what is needed. So I see, okay, this 4 technologies I needed. Unfortunately, in this game, I never got that advanced fertilization technology, but I got orbital hydroponics. And it was actually often a help. I never had a help before. Um, I think just a few users will use it, but it's a tool for us, at least. It's a tool for us. And yeah, it will always be up to date. This is cool. I just have
Absolutely.
the one click button, and the parsers will scan the files I uploaded to Steam, and it's done. It's just one click. It's perfect. 10 years ago, never could imagine this kind of. We created we opened a wiki on the Stellaris wiki, as a mod sub wiki, and it was never finished and it was never up to date. So I gave that option up and made this. Zoom helped me a lot, really, and now we have it. Yeah, I will improve it. Something what is still missed will coming soon.
Yeah, that's excellent. I just want to kind of reinforce that yet again, that this will be updated automatically. So whenever, let's say Russ gives the okay of like this update is good to go and it's published on Steam, this tool will read those game files automatically. So as exactly as you said, because the old wiki unfortunately was always very, very far out of date and missing a lot of stuff because it was an absolutely like monumental Herculean task to keep it up to date with all of the changes in Stellaris and in Star Trek New Horizons. So yeah, this will be updated automatically. There is one question for you in the chat that I don't think I've been able to answer yet, simply because I haven't gone through, I haven't specifically looked for this yet. Do you have a place where you can see all of the species?
Yeah, we had.
Yeah, we still have this here, isn't it? Oh no, it's only the prescripted.
We had
right?
it at this position, at the third button, species. If I'm right.
Because, for example,
it's still in the code. I just made it invisible because it's pretty hard to get the pictures of the portraits out of the game, out of the mod, into this page, because it's as you see on the ships. The ships are all have no textures. It's really complicated to get it in, but the shape is ready, game ready, and I can use it right here. The portraits are not ready, so it have its paradox shaders. It's called paradox shader, and I have no idea to make this happen. So I would have to make a picture of hundreds of by hand of hundreds of portraits to show them. But it's yeah, we have it in mind, and in the future we will maybe add this again for the current release. Zoom and me, we decided to remove that. It's not that perfect or final stage to show it up.
Yeah, the data was pretty messy as well, so we would have needed to clean up the data, and we just decided, okay, let's leave it be for now and add it later.
So example, when you check, you click on any faction, on any, yeah, and you can read here interesting things and the species, whatever, the traits, and then you have here the ruler. So this is legacy from that portrait thing. And we have here the portrait Antidian lines, 01, and +0 texture, +0 attachment, +0 closes. Things which is really difficult to crop or parse out of the files, and to manage that that it's shown good. I don't want to show. I know people want to see how the factions look like and not how the mod files look like. So when you have that, it would you cannot see and understand. You would say, oh, there's a bug, and I would just only get bug reports about a page. So that's the reason for now, but it will come. So in any kind of way, maybe I have to take that pictures, or I find a way to implement these paradox shaders here.
Okay, so I mean, hopefully this will be a feature that comes in the future. So just to answer via Maria's question, it's not in there yet, but hopefully in the future that's coming. Perfect. I think Via Maria might have another question, but will be in probably in German. So I will translate for you or ask you in German when that comes. Spock says bugs. Starship Troopers quote. Yes, Spock is definitely a bug hunter.
I want to intervene here. Spock is one of the most active beta tester and reports almost every night 10 new bugs. He is really active.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
true.
him. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And confirm. Spock is really active.
That's perfect. Okay, so the question hasn't come in yet. Oh ja. Also meine Frage bezog sich auf Inhalte bezogen auf das Grand Archive, also diese Collections. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, my mistake. So I asked you before about species. That was not what Via Maria was asking, but rather about the Grand Archive and collections. Is that in this
What does it
tool?
mean? So we have Megastructure, Grand Archive, so we can switch over. And do you mean that? Oh, that's a Borg one. A Federation. Is that what you mean?
I think so.
We have I need to activate global search. Go back to here.
Oh, sorry, one moment. Via Mario says, nicht im Tool in ganzen Mod meine ich. Das gibt es doch nur in die großen Relikte, oder? Yeah, so I believe the Grand Archive from the base game is not really used in the same way in Star Trek New Horizons as it is in Stellaris itself.
Not the same kind. I actually don't know how it works in Stellaris Vanilla. So actually I did it last time, maybe 5 years ago. We take what we want and need, and we like and use it in game. But what the difference is to the vanilla, I have no idea. So yeah, we have a Grand Archive in the mod, which is fitted to Star Trek New Horizons.
Okay, so Via Mario has just sent me a link to the collections that you find in Stellaris. And the link here on the Stellaris wiki says, the collection contains every species obtained by an empire. Specimens can be obtained from events or discoveries. Specimens can be displayed if the empire has the galactic archivism technology and a Grand Archive megastructure, which includes various benefits but also has an energy upkeep. So basically, it looks like a zoo in the base game of up to 9 specimens or up to 9 species, and from 9 species you make a collection. So this is currently, and then Via Mario says, dieses Inhalt meine ich, wird es denn für den Mod auch irgendwann geben? So are you thinking about implementing something like at least from my perspective, because I'm also not familiar with this from the base game, it looks like a zoo of pops that
Yeah, it's not everything. What is a feature in Stellaris Vanilla fit into the Star Trek universe. So this could fit into several factions, I guess. But then if you make this for these, like I would say, let's say Orions, yeah, they collect factions, whatever, and some kind of a collector's zoo, or in where it was, where data was collected by that guy, and it can be on particular points be used, but then with all the benefits I see here on that wiki page, it's maybe not good to balance when just one faction or 2, 5, 6 factions have access to that, and the other factions have no canon thing to compensate that. I cannot promise, and it's actually more a reason by updating policy from Paradox that we have no answer to this question. So as Russ said, you have to follow all these compatibility updates and all the ideas which is down the pipeline will never have a chance to get reviewed before we have all these compatibility issues resolved. So yeah, it's at least now on that review list, but no promises.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, G-Man, for that. So, I want to now. Well, we're basically out of time. It's been about 2 hours. What I would like to do is there basically ask you: is there anything else you would like to say to the viewers at large at the moment? Oh, sorry, one moment. There we go. Yeah, is there anything else that you would like to say to the viewers who are listening at the moment? Let's start with G-Man.
I knew it. First of all, it's need to say thank you to the community. Without the community, without all these people who celebrating the mod, with all this attention we get on the Steam wall page, in our Discord, or maybe in a press article, without that, we would lose our mood for making this. This is it gives and a take. You give that creation and the community of thousands and thousands of people. To be honest, 100,000 of people have shown into and actually maybe playing. This is a good feeling. This makes your day really good. And without that, without the community, this never would happen. So far, we cannot do this just out of ourselves. We need that, and this is all what we can get. This thank you from the community, and so I want to say thank you for all these people who expressed their opinion, their critics, their shown bugs, and ever and ever and ever again that they love this. And for this, from my side, after the 10 years, thank you for giving us the good feelings.
Perfect, thank you. Shago, is there anything else you would like to say?
Well, also from me, a huge thank you for the community. It's been a long road. I still see people that I remember from the very first days of the mod, and it makes me so happy that these people still play the game and still enjoy it. And I think for me, one of the biggest things was giving joy to other people, and yeah, reading all these comments, the activity, it's amazing, and you guys help shape how the mod is going, and so you are also a very important part of this whole project, and yeah, it's just so amazing. So keep on, and to the next 10 years.
Thank you. Zoom, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, also from my side, thank you very much. It's been quite a time, and a very long road, and yeah, it's a very big honor to be part of something that is liked by so many people, and I'm really proud of this, and I hope you still like it in the coming updates, and still have fun, and yeah, that's what I think.
Perfect, thank you. And finally, Orion, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would also like to thank the community for all the suggestions and blog reports that people have made, and I also would like to thank them for the understanding that they have shown to us, that things might sometimes take a while before we get the compatibility patch out, and it might not always be perfect at the first try, but thanks for understanding and supporting us, all you people. And
Absolutely. I also want to say thank you to each of you, as well as to Russ. So G-Man, Orion, Shago, and Zoom, as well as Russ, for your time today. Taking out 2 hours in your day is not the easiest thing, so thank you very much for doing that for the 10th, literally the day of the 10th anniversary of Star Trek New Horizons. Also, a bunch of people in the chat have said thank you from their side as well, and I think probably both they and I speak for the community by saying thank you for this amazing mod. Yeah, keep up the amazing work, and we'll keep supporting you. G-Man?
Yeah, I remember as Shago spoke about all these things. It's a while ago. I found in the Wikipedia, in the original one, an entry for this mod, and at that moment I understand that this team, this community, this mod made its own footprint in the history of modding in the history of Star Trek, and it will never forget. It was really an amazing moment that I understand that, and I just can say again, it's the whole community what made this happen. You can make something big, but when you have no community, yeah, it will never noticed. And Star Trek New Horizons is noticed everywhere. Thank you.
Excellent. So, I just want to say that while today is the 10th anniversary, we still have a couple more of the 10th anniversary events that are going on. So this weekend will be the last set of multiplayer days, and we have a great game for you. It's going to be developers versus players. Not sure if you've seen, but I do have 6 people in this chat right here, people who are looking on the screen, so we're going to have kind of developers versus players this upcoming weekend. It's going to be right here on this channel again, either on Twitch or on YouTube. So yeah, you know exactly where to come if you would like to see that. And I'll be posting more information about start times and who's participating within the next day or so. So hopefully we will see you there, where we're going to have a very, very fun game. I'm going to say, I'm just going to call it in advance. It's going to be a great game of the developers versus the players. So thank you very much. If you also haven't seen the 10th anniversary documentary, that is also on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel and search 10th STNH 10th anniversary or documentary or anything along those lines, it's sure to come up. Will be very obvious from the thumbnail. And so you can watch the kind of the making of this mod over the past 10 years, as well as where it might go in the future as well. And we've had a series of other multiplayer events on past weekends, as well as a large kind of series of various interviews I did preparing for that. So if you want to continue celebrating the 10th anniversary, you can go and watch any of those videos if you would like. So again, just to remind you, this weekend, right here, exactly where you're watching right now, is where that multiplayer will be. So again, thank you very, very, very much to G-Man, Orion, Shago, Zoom, and Russ for your time. And that's it for today. So hope to see you next time.
Thank you for all making of this happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Amazing. Thank